Hello everyone and welcome back to another edition of the Club 100 SP60 Super Heavyweight Championship, coming from the perspective of Rich T Racing. It's been a long time since I've been able to say those words, but with everything that went on at the start of this year and everything that's gone on for me personally this year, it's taken a long time to actually get them into production, or certainly get this series into production, but I'm glad to say that I've found some time in my schedule and I can now start bringing you these videos from this year's edition of my SP60 Championship. Why has it taken this long? Well, if you follow me on YouTube, follow me on the socials, you know that at the start of this year I wasn't meant to be in the SP60 at all. I didn't make it into the championship when I signed up for it. There was a lot of people signed up for the championship, and unfortunately I got my application in too late, even if it was only half an hour after the signing on had actually opened. But it all sort of started to fall into place, and sort of just after Buckmore I got a phone call from Club 100 to say, like, oh, by the way, we can get you in for Wilton and Lydd. So coming into this round here at Wilton, the second round of the championship, as far as I was concerned, this was one of my few cameo appearances in the championship at this stage. Buckmore Park, the previous round, Alex Pritchard had taken the championship lead from Lee Henderson, and it's going to be a very competitive series. I came into today hoping to, just be competitive, just try and do something. This has not been my best stalking ground, it has to be said. 3 attempts so far to take victory. So far, none of them have come to fruition. But I was expecting again to be fighting for second place. So you can imagine my complete surprise when I went and put it on pole position for the SHWs, not just pole position, it was actually quite a bit of a gap back to Lee Henderson in second place, and then Alex Pritchard down in third for the SHWs, 15th overall in the SHW class behind Lee who was in 13th, obviously myself up in 7th. So that went a little bit, that did not go how I was expecting it. I was expecting it to be very close, and I was definitely not expecting it to be on pole here. Let's just have a look as well at the remainder of the SHWs. Got to make sure we give them the shout out. We've got Christopher Heath in 26th, Pete Gillette in 31st, Simon Lish 33rd, Tim Randall 35th, Stuart Kirk 36th, and then Mark Ford rounding off the grid in 37th place. So here we go then, ready to start the first race of this season for me. Again, at this point, this was just going to be one of 4 races I was going to be in overall. Let's see what we can actually do. Can we take a first victory at Wilton Mill? Who knows? We're starting on the pole side of the grid. Andrew Hall Jr. giving me a little bit of a shake of the head there, but we are looking for the go, and there we go. We have got my championship underway. We're going to filter through the first corner. We're actually going to do quite a decent job already, climbing 2 places. I think Tim Williams had a bit of a shocker through the first corner, so we're up into 5th place. We're going to go defensive down into Christmas, held the line nicely, and that would actually, nothing would really happen for the remainder of the first lap. So we're going to cut away to a couple of minutes into this race, obviously running up in 5th place. I'm not normally used to running up here, but eventually I did get taken by the wayside. This is Karolis Konsikas. I think I'm saying the name right. I hope I've got the name right. We'll find out in a little bit. We'll just have a little look to see if there's anything going, but actually looks like he just made a mistake there, under braking into Ashby. He's been held to hold it so far, but he's gone unnecessarily defensive into the first of the reverse Lesmos. I've got the run on him coming into the second of the reverse Lesmos, but it just hasn't quite worked there. So we're going to slot back in, sort of slotting into what we thought at the time was where roughly we should probably be. Like, do we want to be fighting with these guys up at the top? Probably not, because I probably don't deserve to be here. But with 7 minutes on the clock now, you notice that I'm still hanging on to the back of this man. So at this point I thought, you know what, I'm actually in this fight. I'm actually, I am fighting for 5th place, which would be my highest finish in the SB60 so far. And we're going to now look down the inside into the boot, and we get the move done on Karolis, a lovely man, but unfortunately on that occasion for him, I was able to get past. So we're going to cut a little bit further forward now in this race. A lot of just clean running, just trying to put as much distance between myself and Alex Pritchard as we possibly can, because he's bound to be coming through the field, and there he goes. A very impressive climb up from 15th, it has to be said. We're going to fight him round the outside of the first of the reverse Lesmos, maybe have a look down the inside of the second of the reverse Lesmos, but nothing coming to fruition. So far. So Alex now in front of me on track, 5th versus 6th for the SHWs, representing the SHWs, has to be said, at the front of the grid. But we can see here that this battle is by no means over. We have a little look down the inside into the final corner, but it's just not working out. So he's got a little bit of a run on me coming through as we start a new lap now, heading into the first couple of corners. It's been a while, so long since I've done commentaries like this. I've forgotten the names of these corners. They definitely do have names, but I have forgotten them. But you can just see as we come down into Christmas, a corner whose name I can remember, it looks like we're just carrying a bit more speed down the straight van, Alex, although just we'll cut away from that for a second, because it looks like he's just run a little bit wide through Boxing Day and Inkermans, but coming into Ashby, nothing going so far. But as I was just saying, it looks like he's a little bit slower in a straight line, so we might have an opportunity if he makes any mistakes through the first couple of corners. If I can just hang on to him like I am here, maybe there can be a move. We're coming from quite far back. It's a hell of a lunge. There's a bit of contact there, side to side through Christmas, but it was just side to side, so there's no real complaints there, no real penalties coming in. It was a very good lunge from myself and very well judged by Alex, but you can see there he's just trying to do another good lunge on me through Ashby. I'm having to take the defensive line into the first of the reverse. That's not something I want to be doing. Fortunately though, I've held on to it for now, held on to it through the second of the reverse Lesmos, and we live to fight another day. Now leading in the SHW class, but as we cut a little bit further forward again, down the inside he goes once again, a very well timed lunge, and whilst I have got the speed on exit, he's now got the inside line for the first of the reverse Lesmos, and is able to hang on to the corner right behind into the second of the first Lesmos, have a little think about it, but decided against throwing it down the inside on that one. So we are now going to move on to about just over 10 minutes of this race left to run. A couple of penalties on the DigiFlag board there, but as we've already mentioned through here, there's it looks like we've got a bit more speed coming down towards Christmas. The gap is closing, it's closing, but it's not quite close enough. Maybe they're a little thought of a lunge, but he just missed the apex of the corner there through Christmas. I've got a good run on him as we now come into Ashby. Am I going to do to Alex what he's been doing to me all race so far? Yes, I am. Another very well timed lunge from myself, but as we fight up towards the first reverse Lesmos, you can't see it based on the camera angle, but Alex and Carolis were all there, and I just clipped the tyres on exit. Fingers crossed we don't get given a penalty for that. It would be quite harsh, but as we now come into the boot, there you can see that is Alex on my outside. He's tried it, but it's not. I've shut the door on him and got the move back. So again, lovely fighting between myself and Alex. Unfortunately, I would pick up a penalty for hitting that cone. Really annoying, but at the end of the day, those are the rules. Hit cones, you get penalties, as I found out to my peril at the end of the first round at Wilton last year. So we crossed the line ultimately on the road to take 5th place, but it would turn into 6th. I had it on good authority because he told me that through that sequence of corners where Alex tried to go down the inside into the boot, he ended up losing 4 places, but on the very last lap had recovered and then got past Carolis round the outside at Christmas to also come home to finish just behind me, and therefore he would finish 5th, me in 6th. So once again at Wilton Mill in the SP60, I have taken a penalty, and that has cost me that certainly hindered my ability to win this race. So we are going to have it all to do in race number 2, which is where you join us now behind Ryan Sander. You can see Anwar Beryl Smith to the left. Again, I'm really shocked to be up there with this lot, but it is now go for race number 2. And as you can see, the pole side has got a very good start. Alex looks like he's already climbed up into 4th, so this is going to be very difficult for myself. Looked like that was George Watson on our left trying to go around the outside. Would have been audacious if he tried it, but we are able to survive going defensive into Christmas as we were in race number 1, although unlike race number 1, a little bit more happens on this first lap, so we're going to stick with it for now. You can see that Ryan has already given us a bit of a gap coming through Boxing Day down into Ashby, again having to stick defensive into Ashby corner. So we're just going to have to hope at this stage that we can hang on to our positions and hope that someone can send Alex towards us, and that is exactly what Andrew Hall Jr. has just been able to do, down the inside into the first of the reverse Lesmos. Now we've just got to hope that Ryan can follow him through as well. He's going to have a look down the inside into the boot, but nothing going so far. It's coming through the final part of the boot. Ryan just having a little look at the inside of the final corner on Alex, but nothing going at the moment as we come to finish the first lap. But it won't be long until more action happens here. As we saw in the first lap, Ryan having a little look down the inside. He's now going to have a proper look down the inside. Looks like he's got the move done, but Alex has held onto it magnificently, it must be said. A bit argy-bargy as well. Ryan not particularly happy, as we just saw the gesticulation, but what that has meant is that I'm now able to get past Ryan and am now onto the back of Alex. Now heading on to lap number 3. As we saw in the first race, there was the top speed of the car on Alex didn't look brilliant. Here it looks a little bit better, but as you are about to see, just looks like he's losing a bit of time through the corner. He definitely lost something under braking and through the corner there at Christmas. So this is on. The first victory at Wilton Mill on a day that I really did not expect it to be happening is certainly on. As you can see, I'm following him so much closer through the corners than I was able to do in race number 1. So this has got to be surely very encouraging signs for the man in green. That is, of course, myself on the way now down towards the boot. This is where Alex, again, just a look over the shoulder. He knows now that it's me. This is a proper fight. This isn't just for position on track. This is for position in championship. But as we come through the second part of the boot, we've just clipped the curb there, and that has unsettled us. That's allowed Ryan to blast it down the inside. There goes Garrett O'Connor. We've lost 2 places. It looks like we're about to lose a third to someone whose identity is at the moment so far not known. It's Tim Williams, ladies and gentlemen. Tim Williams has got past me as well. We're going to stick on his arse through Christmas. We get ourselves a bit of luck as he completely outbreaks himself on the defensive line, but there's somebody else now trying to go down the inside. There goes Carolis. There's someone else. There's George Watson. We've lost 4 places and we've gone for it. We've gone a little bit panicky there, it has to be said, into Ashby, immediately trying to get back down the inside of George, and now we're going to lose yet another position. It's 5 positions. I have to admit, I've absolutely no idea who that man is, but one tiny mistake right at the start of this race has led to us losing 5 positions compared to where we were. So if we're going to have any chance of getting back onto the back of Alex, we are going to have to fight through this pack as quickly as we possibly can. We're having a look on this man in the white and black, and now as we come into the second of the reverse Desmos, looks like there's just a little bit of a twitch there on entry for this man in black and white. We've got a good run coming now down towards the boot. We take to the inside line and we get the move done. Nicely done, if I do say so myself. Very well timed overtake indeed. Cutting forward a little bit now, it's George Watson in front of us, and I think you can just see up in front that Ryan Sandel has now cleared Alex, and it's Carolis once again onto his back. And here goes George Watson bundling it down the inside of Garrett O'Connor. Bit of a risky move there from George, it has to be said, but it does mean that we gain another position as well. Just 2 carts between myself and Alex, although as you can just see in front there, it looks like this is now just going to be 1 cart between myself and Alex, as Carolis has made a good move down the inside into Christmas. Alex looks like he's fighting that with all his might. Obviously my prediction about the cart earlier on in the race has come true. Alex not driving away from us, as you might predict for a man of his talent. He is now coming closer towards us, and as long as if we can get past George, or if George can get past Alex, then the battle for the lead is once again back on. But we are sticking with this fight for the moment, ladies and gentlemen, because there's anything, as the saying goes in motorsport, anything can happen, and it usually does. Like Carroll is just getting himself a little bit out of shape. Here's Alex going to have a look down the inside into the final corner. No, he's not. In fact, it looks like he's lost a bit of time, and now George onto the back of Alex. Is this going to be the opportunity? Alex turning in. Looked like he turned in a little bit earlier than one would hope for, so we're sticking with this battle with keen interest down towards Christmas. Is anything going to be going for us at this stage? No, it is not, but it is certainly very close. A little arm up there from Alex. Not sure what the arm is up for, but we will find out. But we're on to the very next lap, ladies and gentlemen, and here goes George then down the inside. We can see the gap is there. We're going to try and push him through, but George just not quite brave enough on the brakes there. It must be said, the move was on, but he decided not to do it. I'm cursing in my helmet at this point, thinking, George, why would you not do the overtake there? That would have been the moment we could have got him, but unfortunately that was not to be on this particular lap. As we come into the I think we're on to the very next lap once again again, George still right on the back of Alex. Looks like he just clipped that curb, similar to what I did in the opening laps. I've given him a bump through, as he did to Garrett in the opening couple of laps as well. So now here we go then, down towards Christmas. Looks like I've got a much better entry through the second corner, and as we come now down the straight, we've got the slipstream, we're closing in, but George going defensive. I'm going to try and do what Alex did to Carolus, but the door is shut and I have to take to the grass. George goes through, Garrett goes through, Tim goes through, the man in white goes through, and we have once again lost all of the ground that we were trying to make up. We got a little tap on the helmet from George to say, what were you doing? And I have to say, I'm wondering the same thing as well at this stage. But the move had to give it a go. Had to give it a go, ladies and gentlemen. Much like I'm going to have to give this move a go on Tim Williams, coming from so far back here in Christmas. But we have got the move done. So now we've got to try and get past these guys as well. Alex still at the front of this battle. The battle is still on, ladies and gentlemen. It's all very chaotic heading through this sequence of corners. We've got this man in the black and white trying to go defensive. He's just not been able to take the proper racing line through the first reverse Desmo, so we're going to have not quite actually through that sequence. Nothing obviously came of that, but on the next step you can see George still having a go at Alex defending for all his might, and Garrett's going to be interested in this. I'm going to be interested in what's going on. Alex taking the defensive line, the man in white taking defensive as well, trying to get past him on exit of Ashby. Nothing going so far, but as we can see, it's just still so close here, ladies and gentlemen. The man in white doing defensive driving for no real reason, obviously not knowing where I am, but this has given me a great opportunity now down the inside into the first part of the build. We so nearly wipe Garrett out as well. Man in white was able to fight back, but I'm able to get back past him. But as we come into the final corner, oh no, we've actually been able to hang on to it, so it actually all worked out rather nicely there for us. And now coming into the same section of track, there is Tim Randall, who is, if we look to lap him, is George going to do the same to Garrett as he did a couple of minutes ago. He's done something quite similar, but this time Garrett able to survive. This is all helping in my quest to get onto the back of them and to have any chance of fighting Alex, who, as you can see, has moved on quite far ahead. And someone who has also completely moved, or completely disappeared I should say, was Garrett, although there he is now. I'm sure on the inside we're able to get past him, keep onto the back of George. So again, just one cart between myself and Alex. If we can get past George at this stage, we're going to go for it now. In fact, trying to get two carts in two corners. We've got Garrett, we've been forced wide here by George, and it looks like for the moment we've got the position, but you can just see his shadow there on the outside. We hang it out through the first reverse Desmos, but coming into the second of the reverse Desmos, George still down the inside, and as you're about to see in just a moment, there goes George now down the inside. And also we've got another man there is a man in white. We're able to hang on to the position now by taking that defensive line. We are compromised on exit though, and that is going to allow Tim Williams once again to come through. I just don't think it's going to work out for me today, ladies and gentlemen, so we're just going to have to try and do the best that we can, try and get these positions back. We saw that Tim's not quite as so good on the brakes into Christmas and this stage of the race, and as we come through the crook there's a little bit of forcing onto the grass. Are we going to send something audacious down the inside? We have a little think about it, but it was just a little bit too far back. Very respectful racing, it has to be said there, between the two of us, and in the seamless edit we're on to the next lap as we're going to do what we've seen quite a bit of so far today, a lunge down the inside of Ashby. Tim going to fight this one back. In fact, it was a bit of an overreached lunge from myself, but as we now come into the second reverse Desmos, down the inside we go, and we get that position back. And I'd love to say that it stayed like that. I'd love to say that I was able to keep in front, but as we are now on the final lap down into Christmas, Tim getting his braking right and now gets the position back. George is also still up there, as is Alex, and unfortunately it just did not quite work out for us in terms of the fight back against Tim. And in the end then we are going to come to cross the line to finish in, I believe we are in about 8th place across the line. Still a very respectful job, possibly my greatest SP60 result, but if only George had been able to get past Alex, it might have been a very different story. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen, the SP60 is back with a bang. A fantastic day of racing, in fact that fantastic morning of racing I should say, because the endurance in the afternoon, well, if you'd been following on the socials you would know that really did not go according to plan. I'll just give Alex a little bit of a fist bump here to say well done. Obviously, yeah, so it was Alex from myself and then Lee Henderson on the podium. The championship is way too difficult to work out now at this stage. Again, I am filming this in December. This race, September. This race took place back in March. Once we get to the next round, I think I'll be able to get a bit more of a grip on it, because I'll say this to you now, ladies and gentlemen, that was Alex's only race in the SHW, or certainly the only race for me in the SHW. For GYG, the next round I was able to get myself into, he had dropped back into the heavyweight class. So this championship is potentially on. Again, found myself in GYG for the next round, so who knows what could happen for the remainder of the season. But there we go, ladies and gentlemen, the SP60 is back. I hope you are as happy about that as I am. If you are and you enjoyed this video and you want to see more of this content, please be sure to subscribe and hit that bell for notifications so that you know when a brand new edition of Rich T Racing comes out. The idea I have in my head at the moment is that there will be a SP60 video every Friday, so you don't want to miss out on that, particularly if you do enjoy this type of content. That's it from me then, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so very much for watching, and all I shall say for now is ta-ta and farewell.
In the way, and I just couldn't quite get past him. I got past him, I might have been able to have a good run on him, but I just couldn't get past. So, yeah, we were having the right old thing. The amount of times like four heavyweights got past me, and then I had to get them all back, and then eventually Williams got me on the last lap. So, yeah, good racing.
I literally did. So well. No, I did that. You know what? I was laughing to myself every corner.
Damn it, George!
There was one where you turned around and you waved to me, and I was like, you fucking cunt! I was like,
God.
what the fuck are you doing?
Why couldn't you just overtake him?
I couldn't. It was just like, why? I couldn't do it.
Why?
I am horrible to get past.
Oh, God.
Yeah, no, that was very nice. See, I'm just having fun. And I look back and I'm like, good, I was like, oh yeah.